Hey there my lovelies, and welcome to my booktube channel, the Sassy Library Fox. My name is V, and today I'm going to do the mid-year book Freakout tag. And I already saw this tag around last year, but the last year was my first year on booktube, so I had no set schedule and I had no idea what I was doing. And therefore just decided not to do this in my first year on booktube. Now is my second year on booktube, and now I finally decided to do this one. The end of June is already over. We're at the beginning of July, so this is the perfect time to talk about my first half year or the first 6 months of 2022. I gotta say, 2022 wasn't a really great reading year for me yet. According to Goodreads, I only read 23 books, and unfortunately Goodreads is right. I can't even say Goodreads is wrong, Goodreads is right. 23 books, but some of them were great, others weren't that great, but we will get to this later on. And I know a lot of people tagged me for lots of tags. I will get to them in time. I know I've been tagged before Christmas for Christmas tags, so I will just take them into December 2022 and do all those Christmas tags in this month. Yeah. The others that have no particular season or aren't tied to a season, I will do as I get to them. So thank you guys so much for tagging me and for thinking of me when you do tags. It just takes time for me to get to them, but I'm doing all of them eventually. I'll get to them, promise. Pinky swear, Scout's honor. Whatever. Okay, so without further ado, let's just jump into the tag and talk about the books I actually read in 2022. Okay, this is going to be a relaxed tag. It's hot here still, even though we had lots of rain those last couple of days. But yeah, it is hot here, so that's the reason why I'm sitting here like that, even though it are about 12 degrees outside. I have my hot coffee and I'll just take a sip and heed to the first question. And the first question is, best book you've read so far in 2022? And I think that would be Like It, with a huge gap between all the other books and this one. Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I hope I pronounced it right. I think she's written Margaret. I don't know. And I absolutely loved this book. It was so great. I mean, it's a book about libraries, so that automatically gives it already a head start. And the characters in this book were just so great. I loved Nathaniel Thorne, I loved Elizabeth Scrivener, and I absolutely adored Silas. Silas was amazing, and just the way the plot was constructed. And I mean, Elizabeth is such a strong heroine, and I loved that about this book. Also all the books, the magic, the libraries, the bad books that attack people. I mean, everything about this book was amazing, and it was really like the best book I read in 2022 so far. Yes, Sorcery of Thorns. Okay, second question. Best sequel you've read so far in 2022? I think I will go with Waking Gods by Sylvain Neuvel here. If you can remember it, this is the book about the huge hand that was found in the earth. And Dr. Rose Franklin is organizing a team of different people that take a look at this hand. And the second book plays years after the events of the first book. It was really interesting at first to catch up to all the things that happened in the years before, but also to see in which kind of direction Sylvain Neuvel went with the entire story. I gotta admit, he always surprises me and I never know in which kind of direction the plot is going to head. He has a very unique way of throwing plot twists at you. I just love this series. I recently even borrowed the third book in this series from my library because I definitely want to finish it this year and I just need to know what is going to happen next, especially after that ending. That ending was mean. Anyway, question number 3. New release you haven't read yet but want to. That would definitely be Book of Night by Holly Black. I wanted to read this book ever since I heard that it was going to be published and released, but so far I still haven't managed to get to it, which is mostly due to my busy life. I just hope that the next couple of months I will be able to read a little bit more. I kind of miss reading a lot. So I'll hopefully pick Book of Night up soon. Honestly, I really should pick that one up. I'm so ready for that one. Question number 4. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Okay, so this is a tough question because I'm not entirely sure I have a most anticipated release yet. As I already said, I'm pretty behind on reading books and on finding time to read. So I'm also behind on finding time to search for new books I want to read, but I think it's safe to say that I'm looking forward to read Alice Oseman's Heartstopper Yearbook, because that one is going to be released in the second half of the year, I think. And another book I'm definitely looking forward to get into my greedy fingers is Grey Warren by Maggie Stiefvater, which is the third book in the Dreamer trilogy. And I'm currently reading, finally, I'm currently reading Call Down the Hawk with my bestie, Hey There Yongi. And I was blown away alone by the prologue already. Maggie Stiefvater's prologues, chef's kiss, they are amazing. And honestly, to digest the prologue was already quite something. I could have marked about a gazillion quotes already in the prologue alone. So I don't know what will happen with this book, but I guess it's safe to say that it will be a hedgehog by the end of me reading it. Okay, question number 5. Biggest disappointment. Biggest disappointment. Okay, I recently read this book and finished reading this book, and I'm so sorry to say that it was a big disappointment. And it was Children of... Now I gotta look up. Children of Virtue and Vengeance. For some reason I just can't remember this title, but quite honestly and in my defense, this title is super long. And it is written by Tomi Adeyemi. I hope I didn't butcher that name. And the first book was Children of Blood and Bone, and I really enjoyed Children of Blood and Bone. I had a couple of issues with the book, and everyone who read my review on Goodreads knows about those issues. I was really looking forward to read the second book though, but in the end the second book was such a huge disappointment for me. I have no idea if I'm the only one, if a lot of people loved the second book still, but it just wasn't for me. It was one of those books that was really, really tough to get through for me. It was all over the place. I didn't like any of the characters anymore. The only character I still liked and pulled for was Roan, but all the other characters, I was so frustrated while I read this book, because they just can't decide if they want to make war or not. And it was so unnecessary. All those conflicts in the book were all so unnecessary. If the people would have just stopped and talked with each other. So yeah, you can see I was really frustrated by this book. My updates on Goodreads kind of reflect this and show how unhappy I was with reading this. I fought through the book. I really had to fight through it. I gave it 2.5 paws in the end, and for me this is really not a good rating. I never give 1 pause, and I so rarely give 2 or 2.5 paws. So yes, this book definitely wasn't for me. I'm sure there are a lot of people that loved it and thought this to be very realistic, all those conflicts, and the world building is really great. I got to give this to the book. The world building is really nice, and it's something totally new and something we never saw before, or I didn't see before, and I've read a lot of young adult books in my life. But it just wasn't for me. It really wasn't a book for me. I hope other people will like it more and will enjoy it more, but for me personally, I can definitely say I won't read book 3, and yeah. It's rare that I don't finish a series, but this series really couldn't keep my interest, so I'm sorry to say this, but this one just wasn't for me. Okay, let's head to the next question. Number 6, biggest surprise. And the biggest disappointment leads to the biggest surprise, and the biggest surprise in my case was definitely The Fever King by Victoria Lee. I loved this book. I gobbled it up like nobody's business. I read and rushed through this book. You have no idea. I don't know why it took me so long to pick up this book, because it was great. It was amazing. I absolutely fell in love with the 2 main characters, Noam and Dara. And honestly, while I read this book, all my thoughts revolved around this book. Even when I wasn't reading the book, my thoughts revolved around this book. So that says a lot about my enjoyment and how obsessed I became with it. And those 2 characters, amazing. I just loved this world and the story and everything, and I just can't wait to read book number 2. Yeah, highly excited for book number 2. Okay, question number 7. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? I think that would be Elle Phillips, who wrote Sometime After Midnight, and this book was another huge surprise for me. I didn't expect to love it as much as well. It was great. I went into it expecting a Cinderella retelling, only with an MM couple, and what I got was so much more. I absolutely loved the musical aspect in the book and how music was described, how the characters loved music, talked about music, and lived and breathed music. If you are a music fan, and if you are a musician yourself, if you've been in a band, created music yourself, this book is definitely for you and you will love it. I was in a band and I'm a musician, and I so adored it. to see those two characters fall in love over music, with music. Their connection, they connect through music and they fall in love through music. And this was just amazing and great, and I really enjoyed that one. Okay, enough of my rave. Let's see to question number 8. Newest fictional crush. I already said that and I will say it again. Silas from Sorcery of Thorns. Silas is the best. Silas is amazing. Silas owes my heart and soul. It's rare that I have fictional crushes, but Silas, oh boy, that one, that man was great. Period. End of the story. Okay, next one. Question number 9. Newest favorite character. I'm currently reading House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. There are a lot of new characters in this book I didn't read a lot about in the first book that are finally introduced and are getting a backstory. And one of them is Ethan Hallstrom. I really like Ethan. Ethan is amazing. And Tarion Ketos. I love Tarion. I have no idea how you pronounce him, but I love him so much, and the interactions between Ethan and Tarion are amazing. I really like this book so far, and I love all the different plot twists, the intrigues that are spun throughout the book, and the new characters, the found family trope. The found family trope in this one is so strong. I can highly recommend to pick this one up if you love the found family trope. Okay, question number 10. Book that made you cry. And I'll go with another Sarah J. Maas book here, because at the beginning of the year I read A Court of Silver Flames, and that book definitely made me cry at a lot of points. Sarah J. Maas just has a talent to make me cry. So this one definitely made me cry, and the second book that also made me cry is A Small Hotel by Sven Lacour. It was so good. A Small Hotel was really such a great book, so thoroughly researched, so historical accurate and good, and the family bonds in this book and the love story and everything around it made me so sad, and I cried buckets while I read this book. So yes, those two authors definitely made me cry. Okay, let's see to question number 11. Book that made you happy. I haven't read all too many happy books in 2022 yet, but one of them was definitely XOXO. It made me very happy. I had a huge grin on my face while I read it. I mean, K-pop references and a little bit of soul life, and this book was really, it made me happy. You can see I'm already smiling once again just talking about the book, because it had all the K-drama and K-pop love I have for K-pop and K-dramas myself. So it was really nice to read about it as well. And the love story between Jenny and Jae-woo was really cute as well. So yeah, definitely a book that made me happy. And of course, Sometime After Midnight by Elle Phillips made me happy as well. Okay, question number 12. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. And there are actually two books. One is XOXO, I just spoke about. I mean, look at the cover. The cover is so gorgeous. I just love the pastel colors here and the drawing, and I'm a sucker for drawn book covers. So XOXO is really such a lovely cover. And even inside, if you take this away, you can see the entire cute picture of Jenny and Jae-woo. So this is really a beautiful cover. I didn't buy a lot of books in 2022 yet, but this one was definitely one I bought because I knew my library doesn't have it, and I just couldn't resist the cover. And the second book is Sarah J. Maas' House of Sky and Breath. I love that cover. It's so intricate. We have a lot of things that appear in the book that are also here in the cover art, and I just love it when artists do that. And this is definitely a gorgeous cover, and I couldn't resist to buy it for me as well. Okay, so much for beautiful book covers. And the last question is question number 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Which books don't I need to read until the end of the year? I need to read all of them. But I'm afraid I won't manage to do that. So the book that automatically, instantly comes to mind, which I should definitely read until the end of the year, is, and now hold on for a second, Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. And there's a story to this book. I've read the first book and the second book of Cassandra Clare's series, or of this series, of the Dark Artificial series, and I never managed to read the third book. Call it procrastination, call it whatever you want, but I still haven't picked up this third book. And my dear friend Catherine, hey there Catherine, I hope you're watching this video, said I should read it. And she's been telling me to read this book for years. And this year, at the beginning of the year, I finally promised her that I would read this book by the end, or that I would have read this book by the end of the year. So I need to keep my promise, Catherine. I'm going to read this book, I promise, pinky swear. I will read this, honestly, I will. And if not, you can come to Austria and kick my butt. On a second thought, actually, probably I shouldn't read it. I would actually love to see Catherine in real life. But no, I won't be that mean. I promised you to read this book and I will do it. So yes, I'm going to read this thick book until the end of the year. And if I read the last page on the 31st of December. Okay, so that's already the end of my mid-year Freakout book tag, and I think I just said that wrong. Anyway, never mind. If you haven't done this tag already, I would love to hear your answers, or just write them down in the comments below. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone who subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. You get a double finger heart for sticking with me, for following my channel, for subscribing, for liking and commenting on my videos. It really means so much to me. I recently saw that I hit 292 subscribers, and if I get to that 300 mark, I will definitely go for a book giveaway. I already hit over 500 followers on my book blog, so that would be the perfect timing to go for a book giveaway. And well, let's see if I will manage to hit that number sometime soon. I can always hope and dream that I will reach those 300 subscribers on BookTube. And for all the others that are currently already following me or have joined recently, thank you so much. Honestly, thank you. I can't say it enough. it really means the world. Okay, this said, I'm already at the ending of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will try to get all the other tags I was tagged for soon, and there's nothing left to say except of take care, stay healthy and safe, and see you around the next time. Bye!